We have a extremely significant topic today. Walking with the Guru, achieving maximum insight. Another way is saying maximum benefit. That's the topic. Though I'll be talking, at any time you can raise your hand and ask a question. To get some point of clarity or to hone in on some point that I've made that you want clarification on. Okay. This is actually a huge topic. It's just, it cannot be contained in one talk. It's not possible. Sylvia, could you turn that on for me? I don't know how to do that. You know, being a teacher, you have some assets, you have some deficits. I have a techno deficit. Well, fortunately, I'm surrounded by people who have, techno strength. Whole room full of young guys and young people. So with this, there's so many different things I have to say. With this topic, you have to try to break down every word and try to understand the meaning of every word. So some of you I haven't seen before. You can say a guru is a Dharma teacher, someone who's teaching the path of truth, path of righteousness, path of clear vision. That's what a Dharma teacher is. That's their job. It's not a job that they apply for. It's a job that's imposed upon them. See? You can't get the job by desire or saying, "Oh, I said X amount of prayers, now I'm a teacher." Nonsense, utter rubbish. As you go through your spiritual life, and various events occur, and you'll go through the cauldron of the teachings. There comes a time when your master or God just simply imposes the greater will. We have our own small finite will, but then there's a greater cosmic will for you to go out and do something useful, to not be self-centered, to take what you've learned and to share it for the benefit of others. Just like, say a farmer has 10,000 acres and he farms it all. Can he eat 10,000 acres worth of food himself? Not possible. But he's a good farmer. So his job is to farm, but to share, to take all of that resource and make sure it gets out into the community so that people's welfare are maintained. It's sort of like that. You go through so many births of striving and training and traveling with the teacher, and then you sort of learn the craft of farming, and then there comes a time where you're pushed out of the nest. Just go create something good for the welfare of others. Go share the glory of God. It's another way of saying it. But in order to share the glory of God, you've had to be aware of that. You have to have been exposed to that. See? You can't share what you don't know. You can't share what you don't have. See? So the truth is everybody is seeking God. Everybody. You know, if you're that pang of hunger for a burger, or that moment, you know, seeking out a girlfriend or a spouse, visibly it might say, oh, we're just seeking out different forms of hunger. But really, in truth, you're seeking out completion. That's really what you're doing. When you get together as boys and girls, you're seeking completion. That's what you're seeking, you know. You know, when you seek food or to slack your thirst, you know, you're seeking completion, which brings a contentment. That's really what you're seeking. You know, you might be seeking it through various means, but the deep root of seeking is always a seeking of completion. You're really always seeking God. You just don't know it. You know? So we'll chase after the fast car, you know, or the exotic vacation. At the end of the day, we're really seeking God. If you're seeking that vacation, you know, you're seeking some joy, some contentment. That's God. You're just seeking it in a vicarious manner. And the teacher's job is to bring your seeking to be more direct, as opposed to chasing after the 10,000 infinite elements of the world, to collapse you down to a deep, insightful seeking. See? So when you came here today, you were sitting. You chanted Om, which is a type of purification and unifies you with the higher realm. And then you sat in silence. That's sitting in silence is a preparatory. That meditation is preparatory, so that you can take a pause. You know, when you come here, you have 10,000 tentacles, conscious and unconscious, drawing you in 10,000 different directions. You know, all of your responsibilities at home, all of your responsibilities at job, all of your responsibilities in relationships, you know, all of your personal history, all of that is present with you. You know, if I ask you, you know, when you're, 12 years old, what grade were you in? You'll all immediately remember. And then you'll remember the teachers that you had and the friends that you had. So it's present. It's just in your subconscious. And that child at 12 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old, you're still identifying with all of that. You're saying, this is who I am. This is my history. This has been my course through the world. So it may not be conscious, but it's there unconsciously. So it's a tentacle. You know, we don't realize, let's say you have 100% energy. Do you have any idea of how much of your energy is flowing out through all of these identifications? So the question is, how present can you really be? If unconsciously you have 10,000 tentacles flowing to every aspect of your life, all of your responsibilities, all of your sorrows and all of your loves, and all of your memories and all of your dreams, how present are you really? See? We're lucky if we got a 3%. And that's being extremely generous. See? So that meditation, it's not cutting the tentacles, but it's trying to put a pause. Trying to create a pause. It's more of a comma as opposed to a period. So that you can be present. See? So that you can hear what's being said. so that you have the opportunity to take advantage of what's given. Generally, sadly to say, by and large, you miss the boat. You know, it's like boat comes into the harbor, you run down to the docks, and the boat's ramp is there. But then your good friend here, and then your mom arrives, and then someone's chatting with you, and as the boat's ramp is being pulled up and slowly moving away, you're still standing on the dock chatting. You know why? You weren't present. You weren't keeping your eye on the boat. So when the ramp came up and started to shift away, you were chatting. You missed the opportunity. See? Fortunate for all of us, heaven is infinitely merciful and will send another boat. Unfortunately for us, we have that habit of chatting. So the next boat may come, and again you're on the dock, and you're chatting. You know.
All right, John, let me add a couple of things.
Ron.
One is, first of all, we're very fortunate because Hari Chan has been a Das. He's lived with Sadhguru Sankesha Das Maharaj. And so if anyone knows about the topic of which they speak, Hari Chan is definitely there. And also to share one of the things to show the importance of a guru, regardless of the tradition. Shankaracharya, which is one of the great yogis in Hinduism background, Sanatana Dharma, he says if you have these three things, you have the blessings of God. All of the religions, you want the grace of God. Three things. One is human birth. It takes 8.4 million species to become, to get that human body. A monkey can't become one with spirit. A rock, a tree, only the human body can do that. Second is the desire for moksha, for becoming one with that ultimate reality. And third is the guru. A guru is someone is already in tune with that which you want to be. It's like a mentorship in terms of regular life, but this is beyond. We have normal mentorship relationships. Your mom is your first teacher. You go to school. So, and without exceptions, whether it's Hinduism, Buddhism, there's these masters. And so without exceptions, even in there's examples with, there's the exception proves the rule. Ramana Rishi, for example, he didn't really have a guru, but if you asked him, do you need a guru? Yes. And that's not to say he didn't have one in the previous life, but there's the guru is part of that. Someone is already there that knows is successful in what you want to become. The guru is essential in terms of the path. And like I say, Hari Chan, he's been definitely a Das at the feet of Sadhguru Sankesha Das. So he definitely knows what he's talking about. We'll share that.
Thank you, Kabir Ramakrishna. So that idea of being present and being aware is really, really necessary. And unless we look, we don't realize how not present, how unaware we are. See, you have to really look at everything. Then, to acquire, because the topic is walking with the Guru, achieving the greatest insight, greatest benefit. Then you have to, if you really want to acquire benefit, you have to say, why am I really here? You know, just be radically honest. You know, you can say, I'm here because my wife, Nima, is a good cook. You know, be honest. You know, and then Hari's a little bit interesting. Interesting, diversion. You know, it's okay. I don't mind. You know, be honest. You know, the greater your own personal honesty, the more likelihood you are to learn something, to pick up something of value, of usefulness. The teacher always wants to be truthful with you, and to give you something valuable. And it's valuable based on their experience. Like a young child might love drinking soda pop all the time. But the mother says, you know what? It's more valuable to drink some water, to drink some milk, not so much soda pop. You know? So they know the value of it, and they know the deficit of drinking these useless drinks. Well, they may be tasty. So really it's always a trying to share what's valuable. But we have to find a way to slow you down so that you're not so distracted, so that you can absorb what's valuable, so you can take a pause, take a breath, and then pick up what's truly useful, what's truly going to make a difference in your life. So if you say, well, why do I come to satsangs? You know, what's the purpose? This is something that you really have to ask, and ask and answer within yourself as to why you're here. How important is it for you really to be here? You know, in this teaching life, you know, there may be a 1,000 people sitting in front of you. You know, maybe 50, maybe 25 are really there for the right reason. You know, we have to be honest. And if you are searching out other things, go do that. It's okay. You know, heaven's not going anywhere. You know, when you get back from your diversion, heaven will be there. You see? You know, amusingly, sometimes a lot of boys or a lot of girls come to ashrams or temples because they figure they can get a good boyfriend or a good girlfriend there. It's very common. Oh, he's settled down. He's spiritual. He's a good guy. You know, I'll meet a good partner there. I'll tell you, temples are full of that situation. You know. So, but really, the teacher's not looking for your momentary temporal good. They have a very long vision. They're looking for your greatest long-term, permanent, stable good. You know, we're running around burning our fingers in life, you know, I mean, you know, picking up things we shouldn't have picked up, you know, getting involved in situations that we shouldn't have gotten involved in, so our fingers get burned. You know, the teacher sees all of that mayhem going on, that psychic mayhem that you're living out, and it simply has a great desire for you to be more skillful, so that you're not getting scorched all the time. You know, there's a way through this world. The world is not going to change, but you can change. See, the world is going to be full of mischief, you know, full of lack of true insight. But it doesn't mean you have to live that way. It doesn't mean that you have to respond to the world with equal lack of insight. See? So, the teacher is a being who has probably picked up every hot pot and burnt their fingers innumerable times, and finally been guided out of not touching these things so much. You know, learning the value of let things be. See? Let things be. That's what your whole study of meditation is. You know, when you're sitting in meditation, what are you doing? You're letting things be. You're not picking up every thought, every feeling, every sensation. Are those things happening? Yes. But in meditation, you're learning to let it be. Just let it be. Leave it alone. So as you learn to leave it alone inside your own head, when you run into it in the world, you're already practiced in letting it be. Leave it alone. Don't pick up the scorpion. Leave the snake alone. You know. Just bless the angry bull and keep going. Let it be. So so you have to know why you want to associate with a teacher. You know, if you're going to get like maximum benefit, you should take a very hard, candid look at the teacher and say, who is this person? What are they doing? Do they make any sense? Is there really a wisdom teaching there going on? Or is there maybe some, very charismatic nonsense happening? You have to be careful. A lot of teachers are very charismatic and full of nonsense. But it's your obligation to look very carefully. Is this person a crackpot? Or are they genuinely trying to do something good? Do not leave your common sense at the door. Please. Take your reason, your rationality, your intelligence, your common sense through the entire spiritual journey. Do not leave it at the temple door. Just because someone is wearing some colored garment, that you should assume they have some knowledge or authority. Don't. Just simply don't. Keep your eyes open, your ears open. Watch, observe, think, analyze, ruminate. See? Inform yourself. See? Ask yourself, in the course of humanity, who are the 5 or 10 individuals who have had the most positive effect on the human condition? Who's really made a difference in a positive way to lift humanity? So you ask that question, and then go study their work so that you're informed. You can't judge someone like me unless you're informed. Who are you? How can I judge you unless I'm informed about your life and your nature and your ways and your history? See? So you have to try to become informed. And then when you sit with teachers, you have a frame of reference. Otherwise, your frame of reference is just a pool of nonsense. Just a bundle of threads that you threw together in a pot. Nothing validated. See? So the teachers want your intelligence. They want your intelligence. See? They want your mind to become calm so that there's greater clarity, so that intelligence can have some intelligent application. What good is intelligence in the middle of a fog? So you're driving down the road with all your intelligence and completely foggy situation. You probably hit a tree, with all that bright intelligence. So the teacher's calming you down so that you could have real application of your intelligence. And then that intelligence will become deeper and deeper and deeper insight. See? The ability to know what's going on. See? Right now, we have massive blinders on. So what we think we know It's really like going to an asylum and having one of the inmates sit next to you, a psychiatric asylum, and having one of the inmates sit next to you and start to chatter. Is that person well? No. Can you really take what they're saying as true fact and information and functional? No. We have to understand this planet is an asylum, you know, and unfortunately we're the inmates. Be a little bit humble. You know, we did not get to this planet because we were the brightest bulb. If you really understand it, it'll give you a certain amount of humility. You know, and if you understand the weakness of your position, then you'll actually start to appreciate the teachers. You know, we're like the inmates at the windows looking out. You know, we're hoping one day they'll open the window or the door so we can get out. And we see the physicians going in and out, but we're like, hey, you know, what about me? That's our situation. What about me? But so if you start to realize that we're all functional nutcases, are we functional? Yeah. Are we all a little bit off? Yes. What are you going to do? This is life. So you have, you know, by saying these, asking these questions, like who made a big difference, a big positive difference, and then going and looking at their literature and seeing the lives they lived and seeing the various gospels that they taught. Then when you come to another physical teacher, you have a reasonable frame of reference. It's not absolute, it's a reasonable frame of reference, which will improve over time. So you have to, well, then you say to yourself, well, these 5 or 10 teachers that I've read that I feel made a significant positive benefit to humanity, you know, what was their method? What was their motivation? And then you have to say, well, do I have any of that method? The answer is going to be no, be honest. You know? And then, you know, do I have that motivation? You know, be honest. You know? If you go home, like, you know, the sanctified Sri Krishna or Buddha or Jesus, all these great masters. Kabir mentioned Shankaracharya. There's all these wonderful, wonderful masters. And if you take a look at, if you go into their home and into their life and look at it, and then you go into your home and your life and look at it, can you see there's a somewhat of a discrepancy between, you know, a little bit of distance, you know, if you ask yourself, well, how much sacred music do I listen to? Or how many sanctified images in my home do I have? Or how often do I think about the nature of God? Little difficult situation. So again, we have to understand where we are. Where we are. If you go into your home and just take a survey of what you got there, you know, how much of it is truly inspiring with a direct notion of divinity. See? So we want some peace because we're all sitting in a hot pot, so we want to get out. But how much is your own personal environment supporting you getting out? See? As opposed to coming once a month or once a week to a satsang. In your very home environment, is your home environment reflective of a human being that wants out of the asylum? See? Probably not so much. I'm going to give you a healthy 3%, and that's being optimistic. You know? So, until you do these really radical analyses, how much are you really going to ascend to these great heights? It's, you have to know where you are. If you know where you are, then you can tool up to take the next step. But if you're saying, I'm here, and you're here, come on, guys. The tools that you get are going to be insufficient for the trip. You're thinking you're here, and you're here. So, I know this is really hard. This is all the radical brain stuff that you have to just get to be really, really, really honest. Because without radical honesty, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? See? Was Jesus radically honest with you? Yes. Was Buddha radically honest with you? Yes. Was Krishna radically honest with you? Yes. Are the masters radically honest with you? Yes. See? They're all radically honest. So you have to understand the height that you're seeking to achieve. You're seeking to achieve completion with the infinite. That's like even beyond our mind. So, but there's a place to start and there's a way to go. See? But you have to try to build into your personal life. Like, spirituality shouldn't be a hobby. It shouldn't be a hobby. It should be your lifestyle. See? Is breathing a hobby? If I pinched your nose and held your mouth, how much would you want to take the next breath? You'd get pretty serious about it. See? The masters are that serious. They're that focused. See, that would really focus your mind. So, fortunately, there's a teaching. The teaching's called Bit by Bit. Again, it's part of God's mercy. That, yeah, you want to get to the mountaintop. Yeah, you have to be as focused as if this is your breath. But you can get there gradually. So you don't have to make any massive leaps. What you have to do is make persistent adjustments. Persistent adjustments. See? And you have to be radically honest and truly informed. See? Radically honest and truly informed. And then, no problem. You're on your way. You're on your way. And then you have to realize that spirituality is not a McDonald's journey where you get your burger in 3 minutes. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's not Mick journey. It's a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. See? So you have to have the right orientation, because if you're thinking this is a Mick journey, and after a day or two, what you desired doesn't happen, then you're going to be very disappointed. You probably give up and go do something silly. See? You realize over time, bit by bit, you can cultivate yourself. So even before you sit with a teacher, just getting psychically prepared to say, how real am I? And why am I really here? Is huge. It's really huge. Because the teacher's got to take you from where you're standing. And if you're standing in a really huge pit of self-delusion, you know how much work that is for us? That we have to peel this level and then peel this and then peel that. And then you're very prickly. Oh, he spoke sharply to me. Oh, he didn't look my way. Jesus Christ. So, very tough. Very tough. But you land up with some kind of a Dharma teacher because of a prayer that you said at some time, in some birth, you said a very sincere prayer that you want to know God, you want to know true love, you want to have the purity and joy of life as an expression of your being. See? So then the teacher's on the hook. Because you said that honest prayer to God, we have to honor that. There's no back door for us. You know, you said a sincere, honest prayer. And we work for that kingdom. We're caught. Oh, nothing we can do. We, as more deeply and more sincere than you said that prayer, we have to serve you. Serve you where you stand. See? So, it's a project. It's not quick. It's a project. There's an unfurling of the nonsense, a slowly releasing of the nonsense, and then an absorption of another culture. See, we all are bound and invested in the culture of man. And the teacher's job is to try to get you bound and invested in the culture of the saints. See, huge, massive psychic shift. Big shift. There's a whole culture that you have to acquire. See? So this is not a one-birth deal. I'm sorry to tell you that. It's a multi-birth deal. But you got to start somewhere. And if you start with sincerity and you have some persistence, you'll finish. You'll get there. You know. But if the teacher doesn't tell you to be radically honest, where are you going? Where are you going? See? Without your own self-honesty. Yes.
So Guruji, because like we live in a culture where I mean there are many different approaches to spirituality, but where that's very competition driven and very, I think, ego driven. What support or what kind of practices do you think we should do to be able to transition, you know, to know, okay, this is my spiritual practice, and this is my spiritual, this is my way of being when I'm doing that, and this is what I have to do when I'm, you know, at work, for example.
The practices of the ancient past, the practices of the moment, and the practices of the future are ultimately the same. There is an encyclopedia of practices, so you do what's appropriate to the moment. But you strip down, there's just fundamental practices. Basically, you have to learn 3 arts: art of prayer, art of mantra, art of meditation. Those are the 3 arts that you have to learn. And whether people see that you're practicing those arts or don't see that you're practicing those arts, don't make any difference. So we have to make time for that. So if I say mantra, for now we can think of that as sort of a ceaseless remembrance of God's name. And if there's a secret remembrance of God, persistent remembrance of God's name, there's also remembrance of God's virtue, God's glory, God's potentiality. See? So people don't see that. But that's what we have to carry with us. Just like you carry your morality and you carry your values into your work setting or into when you're running around with your friends. There's things you will do, things you won't do. No matter how much they say, you want this. No, that's not me. See? So the same thing with your spirituality. You just have to be very clear about what your spiritual values are. And then you just carry it. And sometimes you say yes, and sometimes you say no. Yes, that's within the bounds of my spiritual life. Sometimes you say, no, that's not within the bounds of my spiritual life. You know? You have to have the strength of integrity, see, to know what's important to you, and then to fight for what's important to you. See, there's a time to dig your heels in and say, this is who I am, this is what I do. Maybe you lose the job, but you didn't lose your dignity. You didn't lose what you are. You didn't lose what was most important. Jobs can be replaced. If you lose your dignity, how deep a hole is that? You know, that's a really deep hole to crawl out of. See? So, friends will come and go. Jobs will come and go. Opportunities will come and go. But don't abandon your spiritual dignity. You know, this is who I am. This is what I do. See? You know, I make time for prayer. I make time for remembrance. I make time for good works in the world. I make time for that. See? That becomes, you know, who you are. And then, you know, you can dress it up. I know that you're a very creative woman. You know, in all of your artwork, all of the creative projects that you're involved in, you can bring your own creative sensibility. You know, spirituality doesn't have to be boring, drab, like a dry biscuit. You know, nobody likes eating a dry biscuit. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be a joyous sensation, wonderful, you know. But it has to have its integrity. See, it has to be rooted in the sacred. See, which means rooted in your deepest self. Basically, there's a massive divine festival going on in each and every one of you. You just don't know it. All of your senses are looking outward. No one told you, quiet down and look within. See, first you'll see your own psychic noise, you know, because that's what you're generating. But beneath that, beneath your creation, is the creation. See, and in the creation, there's a cosmic divine festival going on, and the teachers are trying to get you to that festival, so that you can become invested in that you can become a participant in that. But we're so active in generating our own psychic noise and misperceptions that it's hard to get through all of that.
Hari, would you define a couple of things for us to discuss? One is Maya and delusion,
Yeah.
and also Leela, God's play. Would you comment on those two things?
Yeah. It's a sophisticated question. Maya is the ability for misperception and the condition that generates misperception. See, so that we think it's this, but it's really that. And we're caught up in that all the time. We think this is this, but it's really that. You know? So it means that we're not seeing things as they really are. So we perceive something, and then we pile on a bundle of notions and a bundle of misperceptions on that something. So we're never really functioning or utilizing it skillfully or well, because we don't really know what we're even working with. So there's an inherent confusion. So Maya is this inherent confusion in life. We think it's this, but it's really that. And we really don't know it's that. We really think it's this. There's just an inherent confusion, an inherent lack of perception of what is in front of us. See? So all the dharmic practices are trying to get you to have clear vision, to know what's really in front of you. Leela is sort of the divine play. Everything that we're involved in is a Leela, a play, a theater, where we're all trying to return to a complete sanctity, but we're all dancing through the world in completely unique ways, trying to find that completion. That's a Leela. See? It's that unique play that we're involved in. This is how I see the world. This is how I'll pass through the world. This is how I'll relate to the world. While we're in sort of a drunken state with this pearl of reality within us. The pearl of reality is this homing beacon taking us home, but we have this emotional psychic consciousness that's not tuned in to the pearl of reality. So it's creating its own drama, its own story, as we slowly drag through the world back to the kingdom. See? And then, so we have our drama, and then heaven will periodically show up in the form of your parents, in the form of a teacher, in form of nature, in form of your conscience, in form of a guru, to try to entice you to become aware of that pearl of reality. See? So heaven will sing a song or do a dance in front of you to entice you to find that pearl of reality. So that's also part of the Leela, part of this sort of cosmic story that you're sort of weaving out. See? So we're all involved in Leela. You know, the higher Leela, or the higher cosmic drama, is that when you can actually become engaged with the Dharma teachers, come engaged with the gurus and the saints and the great mystics. Because then the nature of heaven is much closer to you. It's not that it's not there, but it's sort of in your face. It's taking you by the hand, see? And it being very immediate in your life. You know, when you're with the Gurujis, you can walk with them, you can talk with them, you can sing with them, you can dance with them, you can have meals with them. It's accessible. You can ask questions. You know, when I was with my Guruji Sankhe Shavdas, you know, my whole life was about 10,000 questions. You know, I would sit outside his door waiting for any opportunity to get into his room. I didn't care what the opportunity was. Sweep the floor, wash the windows, organize the pencils. I didn't care. So I could ask 10,000 questions, you know. Or I could sit there waiting for an opportunity to ask 10,000 questions. You know, so when the teachers are available, that's what's available to you. There's a more direct immediacy, which means the thorns of your misperception can be plucked more rapidly. See, we're all walking around like inverted porcupines. Instead of the thorns going this way, they're going this way. So we're all in this state of persistent discomfort. But being around the teachers, they're pulling those quills so that there's like greater and greater ease. Sometimes some discomfort when we pull it. But after the discomfort, like, I feel better. So we're all wrapped up in some form of story, some form of Leela. And you can look at an angry person. Aren't they wrapped up in some story? That's why they're angry. So they're living out that Leela. And then you quietly calm them down. And then all of a sudden, they realize what they were angry about was not such a big deal. It wasn't what they thought. So now they're starting to act more rationally. See? So that's the teacher's job, is to help change your story, to help to give you insight that what you were railing against isn't the big deal. And they try to teach you how to refocus your attention. So if I stub my toe and I put all of my attention on my toe, don't you think I'm going to suffer a lot? As opposed to teachers saying, okay, that toe is stubbed, yeah, but pay attention to this. You know, and then they draw 98% of your attention away. all of a sudden 90%, 98% of your suffering has just been relieved because you had 100% of your attention on that toe. See? And they just try to get you to acquire the habit of paying attention to things that are truer, that are more stable, that are more joyous. See, those are those energies of the kingdom, as opposed to the energies of chaos. More chaos, more suffering. More kingdom, more joy. See? So you have to acquire a whole new body of habits, a whole new body of focus. See? But it takes a lot, because who's supporting that focus? Almost nobody. See? All your friends want you to join their chaos. They're not bad. Not bad at all. They're just involved in chaos. It might be fun chaos. I've had a lot of fun chaos. Especially in my young days. But, as you move along, you think, well, there's going to be some blowback behind that. Is it unskillful actions? A lot of fun, but unskillful, maybe unwise. So bit by bit you learn a greater insight so that your action is more skillful, so there's less residue in your wake. You leave a wake of joy as opposed to stuff, headache. See? So you have to, you come to these teachers, trying to learn a whole new culture, and to learn not about who you are, but you have to come to learn about what you are. See, that's what you don't know. You have 10,000 stories about who you are. And then if you ask all your friends, they have 10,000 stories assuming who you are also. That may be vastly different than your story. But if you can go deep inside, there's one story. There's one story about what you are. See? So there becomes a type of settledness, a type of integrity, a type of persistent experience that is extremely positive. See? Regardless of what the world is doing, the mischief of the world. So these are the things that you're slowly learning when you come to a teacher. And the reason we say it's like walking with the teacher or walking with the guru is that means you're investing your time. When you're walking, you're not running, you're not rushing, you're strolling. So basically you have this cosmic stroll over many, many, many births, so that you have time to be thoughtful. You have time for real inquiry. You have time to do experiments. So you have the time. And the teacher is there as your advisor. So you go out into the world, run your experiments, and then come back with the results. And then the teacher helps to refine your personal experiments. See? Helps to refine you developing your personal skills of insight. See? And then off you go back into the world. Run some more experiments. But the teacher is always present. They're always available. See? So that you can come back and you can go over what you've done and how it's worked out. So you need the time to run the experiments. It's your life. It's important. See? But you always, the thing is, the teacher becomes a constant. Like how constant is your therapist? If you have no bucksheesh, no money, where's the therapist? Your friends. I'm moving to St. Louis. See you later. Yes.
Are you talking about an external teacher or an internal teacher?
Right now, I'm talking about external teacher. The
Because
external,
the one who's always there.
the internal teacher is always there, but it's not that you have access, because you're going through sort of the minefield of your mind, which has an unamazing, amazing amount of debris and distraction that we get hung up in. See, what makes a teacher significant is that they've greatly minimized their distraction. See, as we're regular people, they're greatly invested in their distraction. See, so go home, look at your house. How much reminds you of the sacred? Or how much reminds you of just your life stuff? Not that your life stuff is bad, but it's just life stuff. You know? You have to understand how tricky Maya is. Maya wants to pull you into the world 24/7. 24/7. It wants you in a state of distraction. See? The value of this, the Dharma teacher is 24/7. They want you focused. It's focused on the sacred. See? They're like a pole star. They can keep you anchored to sort of a sacred sanity. Basically, we're nuts. We're insane. We're nice. We're functional. We're functionally insane. If you don't think we're functionally insane, how many people are starving right now? How many people are homeless right now? How many wars are there going on? How are women being treated on the planet? This is a tragedy. This is a tragedy. See? So, and how engaged are we in changing this ruthless tragedy that we live in? See?
All right, just to kind of tie into that aspect, you can say, ultimately, and you can correct me with this kind of observation, is that ultimately God comes to you in the human form of a human person, as a person, because we can relate with something that's visible that we can see, since 70% of our brain it deals with sight and vision, but ultimately you're dealing with that which is beyond the mind, time and space, and sight. So God comes to you in the form of a guru, because you pray to God, as Hari mentioned, comes to you, and ultimately God is that non-dual state of divinity. So ultimately God is God, which is inside of you anyway. But as someone pointed out, the outer guru is pointing to you in the inner guru, which is inside of you. And so it's bringing you to that ultimate reality, which is yourself anyway. I don't know, what you...
Yeah, the teacher is, the external teacher is to be a persistent voice for you to remember. For you to remember and to embrace the kingdom. See? If you're not doing something for the welfare of others, you are, one, definitely mad, and two, you've forgotten your roots. So how engaged are you in helping others? If you're not, I'm just telling you flat out, you're mad. You're out of your mind. See? You've forgotten what you are. See? Heaven hasn't forgotten what you are. So that's why it's constantly trying to bring you back home. See? So one can say, oh, how can I help? All these people are suffering. What can I do? I have no money. My jobs are up and down. Well, can you pray? What did that cost you? To take some of your precious time and have a deep prayer of goodwill that God, please, I don't know how, God, please, bring some energies forth that relieve this suffering. Don't you think that makes a difference? And then when there's 10,000 of you and 100,000 of you and 1,000,000 of you praying for relief of suffering, that all these poor souls could be lifted from their sorrows, don't you think that cumulatively makes a difference? Did it cost you anything? Maybe some of your precious time? See? Are you invested in that yet? maybe 3%. See? That's where I say this is like hard truths, you know. But that's why I say we have to learn a culture of remembrance and a culture of doing. And we take our creativity and find our own ways of doing. So some of you may be very wealthy people. So you can be a philanthropist and give to organizations that are doing. Some of you have medium income. Well, you can give here and do here. Do what you can. I'm not saying do this. Do what you can. That's it. You know. We're all got this far because others did for us. You know, friends did for you, parents did for you, institutions did for you, heaven has done for you. So what about you doing for something? See? I mean, even the grass cushions your feet. You know, even the tree gives you some shade. So what are you doing for life? See? So your life has to be about sustaining life. See, with loving integrity. See, if you want a meaningful life, do something. Do something. And make that something part of your life. Not, oh, I do this on Sundays. Okay. Or I give the beggar some money and then, he's dirty. What's the matter with you? Are you insane? See? Your life should be about generating goodness, generating kindness, generating relief. Okay? If you want to have a meaningful life, when you take your last breath, do something. You know, make the world a better place. You know, give, love, share, remember. See? Then your life had purpose. Whether you were the head of IBM or a homemaker, your life had meaning, had real purpose. This craft of yoga simply makes you deeply dedicated and deeply skillful. And your battery is not your own personal level of energy. Your battery becomes the entire cosmos. See? You get to enjoy, you draw on tremendous cosmic forces to do. So you'll be doing seen and unseen. See? People will see your hands doing this and feeding the poor, do that. That's one thing. But they won't see all the intention of your heart, all the joy and glory of the Spirit passing through your heart. See? So that when you hand that sandwich to the homeless person, or you get glasses for the child who doesn't have glasses, that a charge of sacred energy is flowing along with that. That it's not only giving them sight, but it's healing them. It's healing them psychically. So when the homeless person eats the sandwich, it's not just filling their body with some substance. It's the energy of your devotion is going along with it, being charged from the kingdom and healing a life. See? You're healing a life. See? So these are the things that you come to learn when you expose yourself to the saints and to the yogis and to the gurus, Dharma teachers. You're learning this intention. You're learning this craft. You're learning these methodologies of persistent remembrance, persistent attunement, and persistent action. You know, if someone tells me they're a yogi and they're sitting on their hands, they're not a yogi. You know, they're not. They're just not. There's no such thing as sitting on your hands and taking up this life. You know, you are going to become a farmer, one way or the other. You're going to be helping to heal the community, one way or the other, seen or unseen. That is your inner dedication. See? But you learn that skillful craft by spending time with them, living with them, walking with them, talking with them, over time acquiring faith in them. Once you see that they will walk their walk, and fulfill their talk. Then have some faith. Do what they say. Run the experiments. And then you'll change. They don't want you to have just common vision. Every real Dharma teacher wants you to enter into true mysticism. Every Dharma teacher wants that. Where your vision goes beyond the mundane and that you can have living, personal, intimate experience with God. See? Right now, for most of you, even though you're all good people, God is sort of a hopeful maybe. A hopeful maybe. I hope you're there. I've heard good things about you. But you don't know for sure because you still heard it through a scripture or through a holy person's life. You didn't have the event occur in you. See, you're still working on secondary knowledge. And we want you to have direct primary knowledge. There is a God because I ran right into it. It changed my world. Rocked my boat. See? So that's why you learn the craft of prayer and sacred utterance of God's name and meditation so that you can come to that place of personal, direct, intimate experience. Once those things happen in your life, there's no going back. There's no, are there angels? Is there a God? All those issues are settled. Is there life after death? All those issues become completely settled. Can you imagine how much psychic energy is released once you're no longer afraid of death? Can you imagine how much angst you have hidden inside of you? That you're going to careen off into this abyss of unknowing? See? When you realize, wait a minute, well, I dropped the body, but I don't drop the spirit. I drop the body, but I don't drop the consciousness. And that all the grand souls I've known who have dropped off this body are still conscious, aware, and active. And I get to have a reunion. Not so bad now. The mother, the aunt, the grandmother you love so much, not really gone. Just been relocated. That's it. So now the sorrow you felt, oh, my aunt is dead. Now you just realize, no, she's just been moved to France. Is the heart broken anymore? They're just relocated. Once you realize that that's actually really, really, really real, then all the broken heart stuff goes away. And you realize, okay, the love I had will bring us back together. That love is a karma. That karma has to be fulfilled. You're definitely going to see them again, whether you like it or not. So you'll be brought back together. That love has to become complete and whole. So you're definitely coming back together. See? So can you imagine the emotional release you have? How much freed up you are? And then when you can sit deeply and forget I am a man, I am a woman, I forget my race, I forget my weight, all this kind of stuff, I forget my nose. And I can become completely deeper and deeper aware. And then getting beyond your own personal self to the various energies of God, the garments of God, and to start to witness that. And then to become aware that in some unknowable way you're part of that. See how your self-definition changes. See that you're no longer this paltry little mortal thing. See that you're part of a cosmic creation that doesn't have a beginning and doesn't have an end, and that you actually really, really realize that you're part of that story. Not a bad situation. See? The world of Maya doesn't want you to remember. The Dharma teachers want you to remember. See, that's our job. And if you fall asleep, for us to nudge you again, wake up, wake up, wake up, come. That's our job. You know, normally you're going to fall asleep because that's part of this world process. But the teachers want you to stay awake, stay alert, pay attention, be attentive, get the job done. Why were you born? With all of your intellectual, physical, emotional facility, what are you doing? If you came from the sacred, if that's your root, and you're not involved in that as part of your life experience, what are you doing? It means the Maya. It got you again. It got everybody again. You know, it gets all of us. So the teacher will either lovingly, jokingly, directly, scoldingly, in every way, whatever it takes to get you to wake up, that's what we do. We're completely impartial in that. You know, whether it takes the fragrance of a rose or the fire of a torch to get you moving, whatever it takes, you know, it's like whatever you need. Yes.
Are you saying that when I die, that I will remember that my name is Paul, and that I'll have the same sense of self that I have now, and I'll be able to see or reconnect with my father, whose name was David, and that he'll remember that he's David?
It depends on the region that you're in. There's multiple regions. If you're just going to the most immediate, there'll be a remembrance of this. If you go further higher, there'll be a remembrance, but not an identification. See? Not an identification. As we're at the very next region, there's a remembrance and still identification. Later on, the further up you go, less identification. See?
I'm going to have to experience something like this to believe it, because I have a very strong sense that consciousness needs a body. The consciousness that I'm aware of needs a body to exist.
That's fine. You can think that.
Yeah, I'm open to the possibility something else is true, but it's very hard to.
Sure. What you're
There's a
saying is
strong
perfectly
tradition.
reasonable.
Okay.
It's not supported anywhere in the scriptures. It's not supported by the saints. But as a human being, and based on your body of knowledge, perfectly reasonable statement. See?
Just
But
kind of upset.
this 1 second. But if you're going to pursue God, you're going to go beyond reason. See? God can be infinitely unreasonable.
Because you talked about you can forget your nose, you can let go of that and be connected to something much more. And I had some inklings of that sometimes in meditation, where you're no longer identifying with what I identify with
Yes.
now, and I can imagine meeting some essence in my Father that is that, and having some sense maybe of some kind of recognition, but without so much detail. It's hard for me to imagine, in any state, not physical, having some remembrance and some sense of identification with this personality. That's really surprising. It's interesting that you have a sense that there is such a thing.
I don't have a sense.
Okay, you have a strong sense of knowing.
Not as strong as enough. I
You know. When you know, you know.
Not one word I'm guessing at.
All right.
But that's why that teaching and that grace of bit by bit is there. Bit by bit. Bit by bit will evolve into experience and into knowing.
Just quickly tie in the scriptures, Christian scriptures, I die every day. So when you go to sleep, deep sleep, your mind is not there. So that's a state of being where you know you exist when you wake up, but your conscious mind was not there. And that's what one of the three states that the great was they talked about, is being in that state. You existed while you were asleep, deep sleep, but your mind wasn't there until you woke up and said, "Oh, here I am. My name is Excellence." But when you in that state of deep sleep, you had no thought of your nose or Jimmy or John, man or woman. You just be. You were just being. That's why they say that's the closest thing to being in that state of moksha in the body. Just the title.
Yeah. Every genuine meditation teacher, that's their job, is to slowly over the course of time allow you to become stable in a deeper reality. That deeper reality is far less personal than you think, see? But present. But
It's
not.
the personal part of this disembodied consciousness, which
Yeah.
is not intuitive to me. It doesn't. It's
Yeah, that's
surprising. It's very interesting.
Yeah, but that's fine. This is
It's not important that it's. I mean, I'm here for other reasons.
Yeah, this is the journey. You know, what you're saying is reasonable. You're just expressing your experience. Perfectly reasonable.
I just wanted to check to
Yeah.
what you were saying.
But this journey is like this. You know? Infant like this. We're like this. See, we're a point. That's pointless. So that's the journey. So sometimes this journey can be actually terrifying because we're invested in I am so and so. I am this. This is my history. We're a tremendous investment. But what if that's not so? Isn't that really terrifying? That everything you've invested in is not so? Hence the teaching bit by bit. Otherwise, you'll be on like total freak out. You know, you will be blown out of your mind. But the teacher's job is to help you to go through the various states without freaking out, basically. You know, to be able to experience the nature of God and know that you will still persist. See, to learn that consciousness is infinite and not necessarily localized. See, that momentarily you're focused on your toe and you think your toe is the whole reality, but it's only a point in infinite beingness. See. So it's a lot to get your head around, but that's why you're with teachers, you know, where you can learn directly more about your expansive self, learn more about what your true face is. Right now, we're actively engaged in our faux face, not our true face. So getting around a teacher is not necessarily the most comfortable thing in the world, because they want you to have truth regardless of what that is, and you want truth as long as it's comfortable. That's the problem. See, so if you get around a teacher who's gone a little bit further than you, by being with that physical teacher, you can think, well, he or she has gone through this and they're still laughing and talking and walking. Okay, I'll take the next step. I'll take the next step. Because you didn't see them blow up in a puff of smoke and flame. So you figure, okay, they're surviving and they say that they're transiting these regions. Okay, that means I'll probably survive too. See? So it needs that kind of personal hand-holding and walking you through it. Otherwise, there's no way you'll have the courage to go into the higher realms. Is to break all of your notions of what the world is, how the world is, all of your perceptual notions. It's just our psyche is just a tiny little pea in this infinite reality. See? So to break out of that tiny little pea is very terrifying. So don't you think you want to take that walk with someone who's already done it a little bit of it? You don't want to just jump off into the infinite on your own? Isn't that like really scary? If I said, get into a rowboat and cross the Atlantic, how many are you going to sign up for that? It's not too likely. You know, you want a big liner and a good captain. You know, so that's what the teachers are. They're to shepherd you along really a truly mind-blowing journey. You know, there's no way of going in this path and not having your mind blown. That's just not possible. It's not possible. So, you know, you're to come to know God as God is, not to come to know your perception of God. Big difference between your perception and what it is, what that experience is. But it's a glorious, I mean, all the masters, all the saints tell you it's a glorious thing. It's something worth doing. But it takes this unyielding faith, persistence, determination, courage. See, that's why there's embodied ones that are there to help you, to shepherd you along, to say, okay, your mind was blown. It's okay, no big deal. Let's just keep going. So we hold each other's hands and we just keep going. See, please, someone had to hold my hand to keep me going. So I have that debt to repay, you know, to help others, you know, so that your life after life just becomes a focus on the real nature of God and service to God. See? And you don't have to use the word God. You can use truth. You can use righteousness. Whatever your language is, the source, the reality. What does God care? You know, these are just words trying to conceptualize that which cannot be contained. See? So, but that is your evolution. That is your evolution, is to make this journey. You know, and just some souls have been moved along bit by bit, you know, are told to go back and help. That's all. You know, they're instructed to, you know, not so much volunteer, but instructed to go out of God's mercy, you know, out of God's compassion to help. See, and it's the teacher, from the teacher's point of view. It's not like regular. It's a long-term commitment. You know, it's a long-term commitment. You know, to help, to make things better, to generate deeper kindness and deeper commitment in each individual, so that they can become more aware of what they are, not who you are, what you are. See, that's the problem. You don't know what you are. See, that's a big problem. So any ideas, thoughts, questions? Also, the reason for the embodied teacher, here we go. Okay. The reason for the embodied teacher is that, you know, you're going to go to the kingdom one way or the other at some time. You're going to make it. That's good news. The bad news is it's a long walk. And there's many skills that you have to acquire to be able to gain admission, to acquire that insight and that stability. So the teachers are there for you to be able to, they're like a proxy for an element of heaven. That's what the teachers are. They're a proxy. So you have to learn a craft of intelligence, of insight, of generosity. You're learning all those things by being with the teacher. You know, if you're with a teacher and you're not developing real intelligence, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you're with a teacher and you're not developing real charity, what are you doing? Because if that teacher is a real teacher and is sent to serve you via God's command, and you can't be generous with that teacher, or intelligent with that teacher, or develop some kind of faith with that teacher, what are you doing in the world? You know, that teacher is like a really good human being. If you can't treat that being with respect, with kindness, with faith, with generosity, how much are you doing to the rest of the world? You know, it's like if you can't treat your mother well, what are you doing with the rest of the world? You're probably treating them like dirt. You know, get your mind right. See, so you have to learn a craft of intelligence, of experimentation, of generosity, using the teacher, you know. So your friends don't ask you to bow, but you should bow in front of a teacher. Why? Do we want anything from you? No, we don't. But we do know that you have to have humility before God. Otherwise, forget about the kingdom. Just forget it. It's not going to happen. So you learn to bow before the teachers, because the teacher is simply a proxy for that. If you can't find humility here with his servant, how can you find humility there? Not possible. You've never bowed your head. See, you're still in a state of arrogance. The only reason we want you to bow is so that you become a little humble, soften your arrogance, soften your meism. See? So bow your head. Bow your head. You're not the king of the hill. You know, you're not the pearl of the planet. You know, be humble like the dust. See? We don't care. I mean, we're not like, I need that. Come on. That's ridiculous. We have that. What do we need from you? Think about it. You know, we don't need your bow. But for you to be able to enter the kingdom, we need your bow. We need you to soften your ego. We need you to be humble. See? So that you can become a servant of the kingdom. That's how you get in. That's the ticket of admission. Learning how to become a true servant. See? So you learn to bow. You wash the guru's feet sometimes, like if you're doing guru puja, like a mass. You know. Even I saw this new pope washing the feet of the poor. Isn't that significant? If that pope is doing that, isn't that a teaching? See, a man of such position, being so humble, he's giving you a key to the kingdom. He's showing you the way. He's definitely showing you the way. See? So, these are the things you learn. There's a reason to bow. That bowing is part of your ticket to the kingdom. That humility. You know, you walk, talk, and live with the teachers. You learn to take instructions. See? That's intelligence. They're not trying to say, you know, go play in the highway. They're trying to tell you methods that will open your heart and open your mind to deeper experiences of the kingdom. See? They're not interested in wasting your time. They're interested in alleviating your suffering and for you to have genuine vision. So you're walking with a sort of one of heaven's professors. See? So you have to learn to have a little bit of obedience. I mean, how many of you would have gotten through university if you didn't have a little bit of obedience to your teachers? I don't think you would have gotten your degrees. You had to do what you were told, for God's sakes. You had to do what you were told, otherwise there's no admission. See? The teacher, you know, will wait when you're ready. It's fine with us. But we're going to be consistent. Our job is to prepare you for a journey, not to placate your ego. You know? Oh, you're so great, you're so wonderful. When you're running around robbing and mugging people. No, we'll tell you. Stop that nonsense. You know, be kind, be gentle, be thoughtful. See? Don't justify your ignorance to us, which people do all the time. See? So, oh, I don't want to talk to that Guruji. He's too hard. He just gets after me. He's just trying to knock off your barnacles. You're scraping through the world, harming people. And he's saying, stop it. Stop it. You know, for every sorrow you give, 10 times that's coming back to you. Stop. For God's sake, stop. See? That's why you should be obedient. You know, think, does this make sense what the teacher's saying to me? You know, and then reflect on the scriptures. If it doesn't violate your morality, and it doesn't violate the scriptures, do it. I'm just telling you. If it doesn't violate your morality, and it doesn't violate the scriptures, if he tells you something, do it. Okay? That's the real deal. That's maybe not what you want to hear, but I'm just telling you the truth. So, sometimes they'll tell you to do something that's not so comfortable. But they're not telling you to do something for their benefit. They're telling you to do something for your benefit. They're telling you to do something that'll get you out of a ditch that you're either presently in or that you're running towards. And they don't want you to fall into the ditch. See? So, some humility, some obedience, some right action in the world. Why right action? So you see the teacher doing meaningful things and making himself or herself available. What about you? You learn by, you model. You see the teacher persistently doing something good, and thinking about the welfare of others all the time. And then you think, well, how much do I think about the welfare of others as opposed to my welfare? You're with that teacher so that you can make a shift, so that you're not thinking about yourself 100% of the time, and you can start to think about other people, just like your Guruji is doing. That his or her life is dedicated to the welfare of others. So what about you? What are you doing there? The only reason you're there is to learn the craft. And if you're not interested in learning the craft, go back to the world. Go. Enjoy. You know, you'll come when you're ready. It's okay. It is okay. See, the world will shake and bake you. And eventually, when you're prepared, when you've had enough already, you'll be back to the teacher. See? So our job is not to drag you along. Our job is to take you along when you're ready, when you've had enough, when you want some peace, when you want some truth, when you want some love, when you really want those real things, then spend time with the teacher. See? But realize that teacher is heaven's proxy, so that you have the opportunity to learn a craft, learn how to serve, learn how to pray, learn right attitudes, learn what to study. We've got 1 million people all over America studying nonsense, utter nonsense. I speak to people all the time. Hariji, I've spent 10 years, I've spent 15 years, I've spent 25 years. Oh, well, what have you been doing? And they're studying corrupt text, they're studying with corrupt people, and they have corrupt practices. And they've been doing it 25 years. So what am I supposed to say? You know? I lovingly say, pause. Here's a few, I don't tell you you're wrong. So here's some things to think about. You know? And if they think about it deeply, then they'll have some more questions. Because nobody wants to hear they've been wasting 25 years of their life. But I see it all the time. All the time. You know, people who have totally messed up practice in meditation. Hariji, I've been practicing 20 years meditation. Well, I take a deep look to see if that's so. Not so. They've been practicing 20 years of delusion, 20 years of daydreaming, 20 years of looking good for the girls, but not 20 years of real meditation. If they're practicing 20 years of meditation, they're out there doing something. You know, they are truly an upstanding citizen in their heart. And one way or the other, they're making a real big difference, seen or unseen. You know, because you can't approach that kingdom and not have it flow through you. Not possible. Not possible. Just like if I take a dry twig and throw it towards a flame, that twig is going to burst into flame. See, it'll become like where it's going. So if you're heading north through your practices, you're going to take on that same radiance. You're going to take on that same intensity. See? So the teacher is there to give you direct personal training and modeling for you to acquire your ticket to that reality, so that God and the kingdom is not a myth, because it's still a myth to you. You don't know. You just hope it's real. But there's a way of knowing. You know, there's all types of divine interventions as you sit and do your prayers and mantras and meditation. Heaven doesn't want to be a mystery. Heaven really doesn't want to be a mystery. Heaven wants to be active, fully invested, and very visible in your life. That is definitely possible. It's definitely possible. Do the work. The thing is, the teacher will challenge you. Do the work and see for yourself. See? I sit here because I'm not in a state of maybe or conjecture. I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm not guessing at anything I'm saying. I'm telling you exactly what I know, what I've experienced personally, and saying, I have a better deal than you have, but I want you to have the same deal I have. Why not? You know, if there's a big birthday cake, who wants to sit there and eat it by themselves? You want everybody to have a slice of the cake. You want everybody to have part of the festival, part of the joy. Who wants to do it by themselves? That's not a state of completion. Completion is when everybody has some peace, has some love, has some joy, has some right action. Isn't that the world we want to live in? Isn't that going to bring greater peace to my heart and mind? Absolutely. So if you're in the ditch, don't you think I want you out of the ditch? And any other Dharma teacher wants you out of the ditch? You know, how can we be happy if we watch you in the ditch? How is that possible? How is that possible? For our hearts not to be part of your heart. You know, of course we want you out of the ditch. You know, there's no complete joy as long as you're suffering. See? We want this world to look like that world. That world is no suffering. This world is a lot of suffering. So the more you're drawn out of the ditch, the more reflective this world is of that world. And that's why we work. That's the job. See? As above, so below. So you have to learn to, like, I serve my master, and I still serve my, and even just this teaching, there's no separation from my master and work. You learn to serve for the glory of God. Over time, you get a chance to peek inside the heart of the teachers. You know, in the beginning you just see the body, you see the intellect, you see some garments. But over time you have to be able to have an insight into their heart. And when you acquire that insight, then you'll become inspired. And then you'll really get busy. You start to know what they are. You know, not their titles, but what they are. And then you'll work, you know. But joyously, happily, you know. Sleep? Okay. So, my wife's reminding me of the time. But, so, in being with these teachers, you have to understand something. Just realize, if you're with a genuine Dharma teacher, just understand you won the lotto. Think about it. How many people are in this room, and how many people are in this town, or in the Bay Area, or in the nation? But how many people are here? You won the lotto, man. You don't realize it, but, you know, it happens to be true. You know, because you have direct, immediate opportunity. That's really, really, really significant. Regardless of how you feel about yourself or what you think, I don't care. You still won the lotto. Because a prayer that you made happened. The prayer that you made came to realization. So it means you have the opportunity. Heaven's not going to force you anything on you. It's not going to do that. But heaven will give you the opportunity that you prayed for. See? It's like a big smorgasbord. It's laid out for you. If you eat, you eat. If you don't, you don't. If you don't come by, you don't come by. It's your choice. God gave you free will. It's all your choice. But you have the opportunity for a significant advancement. A significant advancement, regardless of whatever is going on in your life. The opportunity has showed up because you prayed for it. So you got the lotto, man. But it's what you do with it. They say with the physical lotto, most people are broke within a year. No matter how much they won, they're broke within a year. So you can follow that model, or you can follow a more skillful model, you know, and make wise investments that will take you through, you know, great expanses of time. So anyway, my job is to try to help you to learn some culture. So, you know, even like I'll tell you, like with my Guruji, I didn't care what I did. If Guruji told me to wash the windows, yes. You know, if he told me to go give a meditation class, yes. He told me to go, you know, wash the floors in the temple, yes. I'm honest with you. I didn't care what he asked me to do. I didn't care what he told me to do. It was just like a resounding yes. You know, because it's yes that I can have the opportunity to do anything to serve God. I don't care what it is. Arrange the pencils, give a Dharma class. I don't care. Arranging the pencils and giving a Dharma class is absolutely the same to me. Because all I cared about was the opportunity to serve God and Guru. That's it. Not, oh, I look good doing the Dharma class. And washing the floors, I don't know. That's got to go. That's got to go. Absolutely got to go. You know, it's just got to go. It's just, there's no place for that. You know, ultimately, this is far along. When you're far along in the relationship with the Guru, at the end of the day, you only have two things to say about that relationship. The first thing is yes, and the second thing is thank you. Yes to whatever you want, you know, because you gave me the opportunity to truly serve God. Thank you. Thank you for that opportunity. And with all of my years of experience and all of my past births of experience, that's all I have to say about my master is yes and thank you. Yes to whatever you want, and thank you for the opportunity. But it's going to take a long time generally to get to that point, to realize those two sayings, you know, and to realize that when you're saying yes to the Guru, you're saying yes to the will and the way of God, you know, what God wants and the way God wants it, see? Not yes to what the God is saying, and I'll do it my way. Gotta go. Absolutely gotta go. That's why you study all the lives of the saints, so that you learn the way that God wants things done. So you read all these biographies, you know, to see how they worked it out. You know. So, but this is the journey that you're on. And if you learn to serve the teacher, then you're learning how to skillfully serve the world. See? That's what you're doing. That's what Guru Seva is all about. Seva means service. Guru means teacher. You know, so by being with them and doing this, they'll give you 10,000 different jobs to do. But each job is just an opportunity for you to be present, to do something purposeful, not be idle. See? To learn to be an extension of the energy of the kingdom's energy. See? You have to learn how to hook into that and then serve within that. See? You know, to be skillful. In the beginning, we're like antennas that are put down. So we're not getting that much reception. The Guruji's job is to slowly extend your antenna so that eventually you can pick up what heaven wants you to do. See? So then you just sit, and in your peace, you know. The knowledge just becomes present. See? You're not guessing. See? Your true intuitive faculty opens up. And then when you say your prayers and you sit peacefully and you ask a question, definitely the answer's coming. You just simply have to wait. Simply wait. Because at that point, you're on God's clock. You're not on your clock. You simply wait. And then, boom, you know exactly what to do, exactly what to say, exactly when to say it, exactly how to say it. See? It's not you. It's not Hari figuring things out. It's not how it works. You sit there and you wait. And then, you know. And that's it. Okay, any thoughts? I know, my darling. I can feel my wife. All right. Yes.
So now that we've won the lotto,
Yeah.
what do we do next?
All Dharma knowledge is first based on friendship, on real friendship. And what I say about a true friend is a person who sees your greatest qualities and celebrates your greatest qualities. See, they see it and they support it. That's a true friend. They see the best in you, and they celebrate it. They don't sit on it. They say, wow, she's wonderful. She has a good heart. She's done this, we're like a big booster. So you have to make the determination, I'm going to be that person's friend. And then work on the process of becoming true friends. So you spend time with each other, you visit each other, you think about each other, you write to each other, you engage in projects together. In developing that friendship, you get to see, is so-and-so for real? See? Can I really invest in a true friendship? Are they really for real? That's important. And then as you start to say, well, you know what, this person's consistent with all this stuff, then you can start to develop some faith in them. And then if you develop some faith in them, then you'll do what they ask you to do. See? But it takes that relationship. There's no reason why you should believe anything I have to say. No reason at all. Check Hari out. Spend time. Don't be like some stranger. Just become part of the household. And then study, inform yourself. I'll give you a whole list of biographies to read, a whole list of scriptures to inform yourself. Then you have an intelligent lens to analyze the relationship. See? And then go along, develop the friendship. It's all based in friendship. And then from friendship it'll move to greater faith. See? And then there all the actions have to be motivated in a type of purity of heart and a positive motivation, where the goal is always positive. You always want something more prosperous to come out of it. Not just for me or for you. No, we want it for everybody. We want everybody to be happier. So, Hari's constantly working on tools to make everybody happier. You're working on tools to make everybody happier. So it's not about us. It's about making ourselves a fit instrument so that the whole farm can prosper, so that the whole community can prosper. It's not about us, but it's about us only in that we're making a more refined tool so that everything can prosper. See, that's what it's ultimately about. It's ultimately about that. But there's a lot of psychic training that has to go on, because we have unconscious psychic training, all our stupid habits, stuff that gets us into trouble, or stuff that's like so-so, but no one's called us on it, so we're just coasting along. The teacher lovingly tries to bring it out and say, is that really necessary? Or can we find a replacement for that? Can we do a little bit better today? See, that's what the teacher's doing. And it's like bit by bit, you find a better way. See? And you get the dividends of that. While all your friends are whining and crying, all of a sudden, you're in the same pool they are, but you're happy. Everybody around you is miserable, but you feel great. You don't want to say that too much because people's going to be upset. But you still feel great. So you become, you go from being a patient to a physician. See? If you're the only one in the batch that's not sick, well then you care for the ones who are. See?
And
But
just, I don't mean to
Yes.
interrupt, but Hari is talking from personal experience. I can tell you that having the same guru and seeing how Hari has acted as a Das for St. Keshava Das, he's talking from personal experience. I can attest to that. Okay. I've known Hari for like, I don't know, 1986?
Yeah.
Is that
Long time.
29? So Hari is the real deal.
Basically, I've just been trying to stay out of trouble. I think I have the propensity for mischief. And I had to be next to a very great soul to keep me out of mischief and to give me something purposeful to do. You know, so we all have this creative mischief, and by being with the teachers, you know, we become insightful and purposeful. See? We're feathering our bed for the future. See, and we're creating a spiritual wake behind us, not sort of the, you know, up and down calamity behind us of common life. You know, when you die well. See, when you die, you'll die well, not die in chaos, die in fear, die in confusion, you know, die in sorrow. Come on, those are unacceptable options. Not when these options are being provided for you. You'll die well. See? So, okay, any closing ideas, thoughts? There's a million other things I had on my mind to talk about, none of which I've touched upon. But anyway, you know, whatever was supposed to be said has been said. Any other questions, ideas, thoughts? So this Dharma study starts in friendship. You know, when I was a boy, when I saw someone significant, I just made a determination. I'm going to be that person's friend. I just made that in my mind. I'm going to be that person's friend. You know, because I saw something significant there. You know, and then I said to myself, I identify those qualities, and I said, I'm going to embrace those qualities, and I'm going to live out those qualities. I did that from boyhood. You know, I just saw things I really liked, and I said, one, I'm going to be their friend, and two, I'm going to be just like that. You know, and then you just, because you appreciate it, you embrace it, and you hold it, and then you work it, and that's all of a sudden who you become. You know, when I was a kid, I used to read these books about all these great swamis and masters, and I was reading these books thinking, gee, I'd love to be like that. Will I ever be like that? And all these different qualities. I mean, really, it's like, because it seemed like a million miles away. And then all of a sudden I said, wow, now they're my brothers. You know, as where before they were like, oh, you know, far, far away. And now they're my peers and my brothers. You know, so, you know, you just have to have a dedication to saying, this is meaningful, this is important. And then get next to those souls who are living it out. You know, it should become part of your community, not like an other. You know, and then you'll be surprised. You know, heaven is the wind in your sails, you know, but you have to put up the sail. You know, so you do your part, heaven will do its part. And all of a sudden, you realize, wow, how did I get here, you know? I can remember as a boy being so far away, and now I'm walking amongst them. See? So that's how it's been. You know, don't think that sanctity is far away, that you won't meet that. You won't meet saints, you won't meet mystics, you won't meet yogis. If that's in your mind and you determine that's what you really, really, really want, you'll get that. You know, that will happen. That will happen. See? So you get ultimately what you pray for. Ultimately, that's what you get. A lot of people are in mischief because they prayed for a lot of mischief. They wanted it. They won't admit to it, but that's what they wanted. And that's what they got. You know, so you'll get what's in your heart, what you're really seeking. That's exactly what you're gonna get. So check your heart, make sure you're seeking the right things. Okay. So we'll end for now. I'm always available. Here, I'm always available for questions, ideas, thoughts. All of you should know that the door is always open. So we'll sit up, and we're gonna have Susan lead Om again.
Okay. 3 times.
3 times, and then we'll sit just for a few moments, and then we can open our eyes.
Okay, deep breath in.